5 things I wish I'd known when I first got my Quest 2, my Quest Pro, and 5 things you'll be glad you found out right here about the Meta Quest 3. All that and more, you're watching Bringhurst VR. Alright you guys, 5 things I wish I'd known about the Quest 2, the Quest Pro, and what's going to be applicable to the Meta Quest 3. Let's kick it off with number 1. You're leaving resolution at the door. The Meta Quest 2 and the Meta Quest Pro and the incoming Meta Quest 3 have a resolution that's reduced compared to what it's actually physically capable of. The reason this is done is so that every game uniformly works a certain way. They don't want one game that believes it can get away with higher specs, higher resolution.
Well, it should be obvious to even the most dim-witted individual who holds an advanced degree in hyperbolic topology.
They want everything uniform, and that's where the Quest Games Optimizer comes in. It can be found on Sidequest. If you don't know what Sidequest is, it's a free application that's available on all of Meta's headsets, from the Quest 2 to the Quest Pro to the upcoming Quest 3. You install it on a PC, you plug your headset up to that computer. Doesn't have to be a gaming PC. So you go there, you search for it, you install it. I'll put the link in the description. Once it's installed, you'll find it in your app library on the Meta Quest 2, Pro, and 3 under unknown sources. From there, you open it up and you have got a slew of new settings. You can take what you're seeing through the headset from this to this. It's noticeable. I made a previous video about how you can achieve PCVR resolution inside of the Quest 2, Quest Pro, and the upcoming Quest 3, and this is the application that pulls it off. The second thing I wish I'd known early on, screen capture and recording. Now, if you've been on YouTube or social media, you've seen people share and stream videos of their experience inside the headset, and it's a square. Their resolution's locked into this, but it doesn't have to be. And this can be changed by toggling advanced camera settings. Once you select it, it'll turn blue. Once you've done that, you've unlocked a ton of new recording settings for the Quest 2, the Quest Pro, and the upcoming Meta Quest 3. And to use them, you go back to the main settings menu and then to the recording settings section. Now you can change a lot more settings here now. Most importantly, the recording resolution, the aspect ratio, compression quality, and frame rate. Now as it relates to the Quest Games Optimizer, the previous application I mentioned, it can also, on top of everything else, adjust your recording resolution, the scale of your video. And this is actually the more recommended route. A, because it's not hidden, it's not buried under some experimental tab inside of the Quest software, but more than that, because previously what you had to do to access the Quest Games Optimizer, you had to plug it up to your computer, enable ADB every time you wanted to use it, and that's not the case anymore. These people are geniuses. They have everything built and baked into the headset now. So now you plug it up to the computer once, enable ADB once, and from then on, it's always enabled, and you can access all of this direct from the headset, whether you're turning it on for the first time that day or it's been off for a week, it doesn't matter. It offers a lot more recording settings than the experimental settings inside the Quest menu. So you can choose your resolution, you can choose the scale of your video. It does come at a cost. For some games, depending on how demanding they are, it'll cost you in frame rate. So you'll have to pick and choose. You can tweak any game as you see fit. You'll see all the games that you own in this library they offer, and you'll be able to tweak the resolution and all these settings as you see fit. There are also profiles built by other people who've taken the time and have determined that these are the best settings for this particular game. This is what it can handle without really affecting the frame rate too much. The link again for that will be in the description. The next thing I wish I'd known, accessories. Now you might look at the Quest 2 and think, well, how many people own this device? And I see them wearing it on YouTube all the time, just that head strap all by itself, and they're holding the controllers and they seem happy with it. But there's a reason that the Quest 2 is so inexpensive. There's a reason the Quest 3 is so much cheaper than the Valve Index. There's a reason for all of this, and that is that they're cutting down on these peripheral expenses. For only a few bucks, you can increase not just the comfort, but your experience in the game and how it feels and how well you succeed at these competitive and taxing games. So So let's start with controller grips. If you've ever played BeatSaber, you know your hands get sweaty. You don't want to throw the controller, that's a bad time. And so controller grips are the way to go. You can tell me about the wrist strap, but it's not the same thing. And you can get away with finding controller grips for pretty cheap. These controller grips on Amazon are not the ones I personally use. I prefer grips by Mamut VR. However, these are under $13 and they've got ratings of 4.5 out of 5. People love them and it will up your experience tenfold. Now, as far as a head strap solution, this is the Bobo VR M2 Plus head strap. It's available on Amazon for $29.99, which is a drop in the bucket, and it has a rating of 4.7 out of 5. Now, it needs to be understood that this will not fit the Quest 3. The clips are just different. However, I guarantee after a week or two of the Quest 3 being out, you'll find 3D printed clips on Etsy, and when I do, I'll share the link with you. In addition to that, the headset strap that I recommend, that I prefer, is a little more expensive, which is why I'm not putting a huge emphasis on it. I'm recommending the Vive Deluxe audio strap, and you can guarantee that by the time the Quest 3 comes out, there will be 3D printed clips to accommodate this head strap for the Quest 3. Right now you can find these new on eBay for somewhere around $80, so it's more pricey, and the clips to attach them are on Etsy for something under $15. I'll put links in the description. But again, if you're trying to be cost effective, that Bobo VR headset strap is going to do you just fine. And the reason that I recommend these head straps at all is because the strap that comes stock with the Quest 2 and the Quest 3, it doesn't put emphasis over the top of your head. Even the higher end strap that was synonymous with snapping doesn't offer a solution for an over the head situation. And that's really the crux of the problem. The Quest 3 is going to be lighter, so perhaps it'll be more comfortable, but there's no reason not to have an over-the-head strap. It's going to be more comfortable, it's a better design, and I highly recommend it. Now, as far as the Quest Pro is concerned, there are solutions. I'll put a link in the description for a video I'd made previously. Forgive the quality, it's a bit old now, but it does comment on the accessories that you could use to enhance the comfort of that headset, because just like the Quest 2 and the Quest 3 I mentioned, it lacks an over-the-top strap. And I'm going to toss in with this category regarding hand grips and a head strap is headphones. So what I always suggest, if you're not getting the Vive Deluxe audio strap because it is more expensive, is going with the globular cluster attachable headphones. They bend, they flip, they tilt, they'll bake you a cake, and they sound good. Now that what I just said is specific to the Quest Pro, but they'll work with the Quest 2, they'll work with the Quest 3, and I highly suggest getting a pair of attachable headphones. You might get away with using the audio that's being piped to your ears for a bit, but once you start playing a game like Pop 1 and you need true directional audio.
Oh, down. You go straight down?
Yeah, that's them. Nice.
How do you guys know where the enemies are so easily?
What do you mean?
Well, you guys seem to know exactly where the sounds are coming from. How?
Well, I mean, it's just where the sound's coming from.
Oh no. Do you guys think I need to get new speakers or something?
Speakers?
And you want to play at night, and you don't want to bother people around you, then this is where you're going to want headphones. Using larger cupped headphones are just sometimes not completely feasible, and wouldn't you rather have an all-in-one setup anyway? Next up, I want to talk about using a headset outside. You'll find YouTube littered with people saying, don't take your Quest outside. But why? Because of the sun, because they don't want you to melt the lenses. But what if you play once the sun goes down? You see, the best time to play is just as the sun begins to set. I went outside all the time playing with my Quest 2. You wait for the sun to slightly dip behind the mountain, and suddenly you have an hour and a half of perfect lighting in a grassy field with all the space you could want and the cool air on your skin. There's no reason you can't do it. It gives you a larger play space, and you can look like a fool to a bunch of strangers. But you know, in the past, I've done this, and all I get is people asking me, hey, what's that? What are you doing? What are you playing?
What are you doing?
As if people don't know what the Quest 2 or Quest Pro is. Now, to that point, the Quest Pro won't work for this. Not after dark. It doesn't have the ability to see IR light. The Quest 2 does, which means even after it's dark outside, you can still use it, provided there's a porch light or a street light giving you some kind of a light source. So for sure, if you have a Quest 2 and the upcoming Quest 3 will work this way, play to your heart's content outside as the sun begins to go down. And next, wouldn't you like to play BeatSaber or Synthriderz with your own music? Don't you dislike the music that comes stock with it? Isn't it loud? Is that not your style of music?
Shut your f***ing face.
Well, luckily, you can install your own music on BeatSaber and Synthriderz. Now, if you're on a Quest 2, Quest Pro, or the incoming Quest 3, the first thing you'll want to do is create an account through BeatSaber. Link is in the description. Next, you'll go to Sidequest, which I already mentioned, and do a search for BMBF. You'll install that to the headset, and once it's done, you'll find it under Unknown Sources. In fact, any game you install from Sidequest will be found under Unknown Sources moving forward. And prior to launching BMBF inside your headset, you'll want to make sure you've ran BeatSaber at least one time. Exit that game, open BMBF, and there's this one-click install. Now, I don't find it necessary to really say, but I want to cover my bases. For a little moral high ground, it's advised that you download music that you've purchased in the past.
Why is the run go? Why is the run go?
I'm of the belief that if I bought a CD back in 2004, I should be able to listen to it whenever I want. Me having accidentally broken that disc shouldn't prevent me from enjoying the music. But that's going to be up to you. Regardless, the music is there, the files are there, and it's as easy as one-click install. Likewise, Synthriderz, which is similar to BeatSaber in the sense that it's played to the rhythm of music, and that's kind of where it ends. They have a website, link is in the description, where you can go and download custom music. People from within that community have created all kinds of custom music maps, and there's plenty to choose from. In this case, you don't need to install anything. You simply plug your headset up to the computer, download the music that you want, drag it to the folder titled Custom Music under Synthriderz, and Bob's your uncle, you're all done. And one of the biggest things that needs to be said is, why are you spending money on games out the door? There are so many games that you can get for free. Don't spend a penny. And I want to talk about that, but it's a whole episode. So make sure you subscribe and look forward to the next video I make. And I'll detail all the free games that matter to you, that I prefer, and where you can find them. As soon as this video's done, you'll find me in Discord. If anyone wants to ask questions, have a Q&A one-on-one, I'm there. You're all awesome. You've been watching Bringhurst VR. Have a great day.